For years, Mackenzie Shurilla has maintained that the crash that killed her boyfriend and his friend was a tragic accident. But after being convicted of murder and sentenced to prison, she recently broke her silence in a Netflix documentary that reignited debate across the country. Now, as she asked Ohio's Supreme Court for another chance, three questions are colliding at once. Did her lawyers make a costly mistake that could end her appeal before it begins? Did the documentary help her case or damage it? And after everything that's happened, does the evidence support murder or a devastating accident? Let's take a closer look.
Mackenzie Shurilla is making a big play, a Hail Mary, really. The convicted double murderer is asking Ohio's Supreme Court to hear her appeal. This after a lower court ruled her attorney dropped the ball on her appeal, literally filing a day late. And with all of this buzz surrounding the Netflix documentary The Crash, Mackenzie may think she has a shot. I am not so sure. I'll dig into the legal part of this shortly, but first, let's look at how we got to this point. It was July 30th, 2022. Mackenzie and her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, went to a graduation party, then to a friend's house for a sleepover. Dominic's friend, Davian Flanagan, was also there. The three left in Mackenzie's Toyota Camry, and Mackenzie was behind the wheel. They were driving down the road. It was around 5:30 a.m., and then this.
Duty.
Radio. This car's split in two. Radio, there's an occupant inside. Send us a squad now. We gotta bust the window out. Send us some more units.
Any more units to progress now, Anita?
Now!
What are we doing?
31, spawn up. 60 on Westwood, on the 3 on Alameda.
This is not a fresh accident either. She's been here for a while. Radio, we got at least 2 occupants in here. No one's moving. Oh my God. Oh my God. Times 3, guys. Radio, 3 occupants. No one's conscious. No one's breathing. Bust that window out. Rookie. Oh my God, dude. Babe, what'd they tell you?
Nothing.
Okay, she was life flighted here.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that.
Okay. No. You want to sit down? Wait, say this. Progress in Alameda, car into a building. 2 are deceased in the vehicle. Daughter's driving.
Who died?
I don't know whether, but there's one that we don't know. His name's Jacob. Does anyone know a Jacob?
Dom?
No, stop. Let him talk.
Guys, I know, we've been dealing with this. Your daughter's okay. She's talking to us. All right, I got to talk to you one more time. Let's let you know where we stand as a police department, okay? Where we stand today, okay? Full transparency here. There's drugs in the car. She had a bag of mushrooms on her and a scale. Full transparency, guys. I'm sorry, I'm ripping the Band-Aid off, okay? Drugs in the car. It's a mess, okay? We're not going to do anything with the blood draw or anything here, but it will probably be subpoenaed, just so you guys know. They're going to subpoena for a blood draw for the sample. Okay? Since she's unconscious, I really will, if you guys could talk, if she wakes up, we need the name of that passenger, okay?
Wait, you don't know what it is?
We don't. All I know is his name is Jacob. That's it.
Where were people in the car?
She was driving, one in the back seat, and Jacob was in the front. Davion in the back. You're the parent. I mean, you have the right to know. This is serious. And me and him were the first ones on scene to discover.
So she was awake but not awake, so she was like not
In and out of consciousness. She could be fully extracted from the vehicle by FD. I know she has a severe leg injury. But like I said, she was speaking. She was speaking, okay? And she had her seatbelt on. Yes. We had to cut it off to get her out.
Stop.
Yeah, that probably saved her life. 100%
Oh my
saved her life.
God. She had a seatbelt on. Oh.
I don't believe the others did.
Oh my God. Oh my God. She got it out.
It was at Progress in Alameda. Like I said, they hit a building at a very high speed.
She had it on
She did not
her?
hit another vehicle.
The
It
doors
just,
were on her, or like on a person, or just on her? Or did somebody else's? Could it be that she?
that person.
What does that mean? They were
Pockets. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's the least your worries at this point, guys.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm just trying to gather information. I'm an information gatherer.
Yes. I'm just giving you what I know, okay?
That was the moment Mackenzie Shurilla's car slammed into a brick wall at nearly 100 miles per hour. 2 young men were killed. Shurilla survived. Prosecutors said she intentionally drove into that wall, killing Dominic Russo and their friend Davian Flanagan. Shurilla opted for a bench trial, no jury, and the judge who heard her case found her guilty on 2 counts of murder and sentenced her.
There's a very good likelihood, Mackenzie, that you will spend the rest of your life in prison. That won't be up to me. That will be up to the parole board, and that will be up to you to a great extent. I understand that the pain in this room wants me to impose the harshest sentence, but I don't believe that would be the appropriate sentence, because I do believe that Mackenzie will not be out in 15 years. So she's sentenced on count 2, the murder of Davian Flanagan, 15 years to life. She's sentenced on count 1, the murder of Dominic Russo, 15 years to life, to be served concurrent to each other with credit for time served.
But now, Shurilla is fighting back. Her legal team has taken her case to the Ohio Supreme Court, arguing a technicality so small it comes down to 1 day and a leap year. The filing is hitting the headlines just weeks after Netflix released The Crash, her first on-camera interview since this all happened. So what does the documentary have to do with the appeal? And could it actually hurt her case? Shurilla has always maintained that this was an accident, that she blacked out, and her family pointed to a medical condition called POTS, but her lawyer never called a medical expert to testify about it, so that claim has never been substantiated in court. Now back to this new appeal. Shurilla's lawyers filed this appeal with the Ohio Supreme Court on April 27th. They're basically asking the court to hear this, and the court has not decided whether or not they will. The whole thing comes down to a calendar. Here's why. Under Ohio law, a convicted defendant has 365 days after their trial transcript is filed to challenge their conviction. Shurilla's trial transcript was filed on October 24th, 2023. Her lawyers filed their post-conviction relief petition on October 24th, 2024. That is 366 days later, 1 day past the deadline.
At this point, the case shifts from the crash itself to a procedural battle that could determine whether any new evidence is ever considered. Shurilla's legal team argues that the filing deadline should have been calculated differently, while prosecutors insist the law is straightforward and that the deadline was simply missed. Cases involving procedural errors often create public frustration because they can appear disconnected from the underlying facts. Some viewers may wonder whether a single missed day should matter when a life sentence is involved. Others argue that deadlines exist precisely because courts need consistent rules. What do you think? Should courts strictly enforce filing deadlines, or should exceptions be made when the consequences are this significant?
So how did that happen? Her lawyers say they missed the deadline because they didn't account for 2024 being a leap year. Now there's another layer to this appeal. Her legal team is also saying in this appeal that her lawyer did not investigate that medical condition, POTS, which can cause blackouts. They say if he had, she might have been acquitted. There is medical evidence that Mackenzie Shurilla suffered from a pre-existing medical condition that could have caused her to black out while driving. Now Shurilla is taking her case to the Ohio Supreme Court. Her lawyers argue that if the clock had started later, based on a different transcript, her filing would have been early, not late. Here's why that matters. Shurilla's case started in juvenile court. A judge there held a hearing to decide whether to move her to adult court. Her lawyers say that judge should have never moved her case at all, and they made that the first issue in their direct appeal. But the transcript from that juvenile hearing was not filed until December 15, 2023, nearly 2 months after the trial transcript. Shurilla's lawyers say the 365-day clock should have started on December 15th, not October 24th, and they point to something in the record to back themselves up. The juvenile transcript was cited repeatedly by the defense. The prosecution's brief of appellee similarly cited the juvenile transcript, and the ensuing decision and the original appeal discussed the evidence presented at the bind-over hearing, saying both sides used it. So her lawyers argue it should count as the starting line. The appeals court said no. The law says trial transcript, not every transcript from every hearing. Now Shurilla's lawyers want the Ohio Supreme Court to settle the fight, and they have another argument too. Even if she missed the deadline, they say the court should still hear her case because the stakes are so high. The appeal puts it this way. When a petition provides substantial reason to believe that the defendant would be acquitted at a new trial, principles of equitable tolling may be exercised to excuse the late filing. Which brings us to the Netflix documentary. In the crash, Shurilla finally speaks on camera for the first time, and she tries to explain what happened that night. She says, "I remember turning on the street, and then I'm waking up in the hospital the next day, and my whole life is shattered." When asked about her relationship with Dominic, she says, "We would have probably been married by now. It was rocky, but it was good. We were in love." But here is the moment everyone is talking about at the very end of the documentary. The filmmakers reveal that her lawyer was in the room the entire time, and you see her demeanor shift. She checks in with him, asks how she is coming across. Then she turns back to the camera and says, "I'm big on the no intent. There was no intent whatsoever there."
The legal fight surrounding Mackenzie Shurilla now extends far beyond a single filing deadline. Her attorneys argue that important evidence, including claims involving a possible medical condition, deserves another look. Prosecutors maintain that the courts have already reviewed the case and reached the correct conclusion. Meanwhile, the Netflix documentary has placed Shurilla back in the public spotlight, giving viewers a chance to judge her statements and demeanor for themselves. For some, the interview raises new questions. For others, it reinforces conclusions they had already reached. The debate ultimately comes down to 3 issues: whether the appeal should proceed, whether the documentary helped or hurt her credibility, and whether the crash itself was intentional or accidental. What do you think? Did the documentary change your perspective on the case? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoy in-depth coverage of major court cases, controversial legal battles, and the stories dominating national conversations, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more coverage from The Rebuttal.